The Cornbread Joe Project, featuring Cornbread Joe as the big fat guy.
All right, week 3, back on the flat bench, starting out the week. I got a bit of feedback from some people on my other videos saying that maybe it was more entertaining listening to me talk than it was watching my subpar lifts at accelerated speed. So I'm going to try something different this week. I'm going to make it a little less montagey and a little more bloggy. And what I'll do is I'll just put up a little blurb for every day that shows, something like this, that shows my workouts for the day and what I did, number of sets, etc. And then talk about something and show a couple clips, maybe a couple clips of the main sets, a couple of the accessories. Not make you sit through me struggling through, not make you sit through a bunch of sets of me struggling. So obviously the main goal of this whole project is to get myself physically more healthy. It's something that I need to do. But another big part of this, and something I haven't touched on yet, is it's not just about physical health. Mental health is another really big part of the journey. And I'm not going to get on my soapbox and get preachy, because I know this is a real touchy subject. But what I am going to do is just, be transparent and tell you guys about some of the stuff I've been dealing with and have dealt with and probably will continue to deal with. It's really hard to, I touched on this a little bit at the end of my second video, which is hate yourself a little less every day. For those of you that watch to the end. But yeah, one of the big struggles is, when you don't like yourself, when you don't really, and this is going to sound extreme, but if you don't really care if you live or you die, then it's really hard to get yourself to take care of yourself, if that makes sense, right? You don't think long term. You develop this vicious cycle of just, not taking care of yourself because you really don't care what happens to you. And so it's really hard to find that motivation sometimes to do better, to be better, and to be good to yourself when you really don't like you. Which again sounds harsh, but it's true. And in my case, I really got sort of an external motivational factor, a real kick in the ass, right? Which is my daughter being born. Something like that. It's people talk about how it's life changing, and it is obviously, but it's also from day one, everything switches. It's no longer about me. It's not my life anymore. It's about her, right? And whether I care if I go on or not doesn't matter, right? Because I have to, because she needs me, and she is the most beautiful, perfect thing in the world, and I need to be around for her. So yeah, I don't know. This is all probably sounds pretty bullshitty, but it's the truth. That's where I'm at. Got a little bit of rain today, which is nice, but I think it's a classic case of too little, too late. We needed this in like June, July. That's what it really would have helped. Anyway, I might do a little bit more talking today about mental health, just because that seems to be the theme of the week, and then we'll get back to our usual programming. I was watching myself as I edited Monday's part of the video, and it's a little weird watching / listening to yourself talk about that kind of stuff. But I also think it's a little weird I'm starting to realize that it's a little weird also to just bottle that stuff up for your whole life and let it fester and stew till it bubbles over. But it got me thinking about why I've never talked about it before, or why I've never felt comfortable talking about it before. And I think there's a lot of reasons. I think that, you know, people always talk about men's mental health and how there's this stigma behind being manly, not talking about your feelings, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's not that. It's more, I don't know, like, you don't want to concern the people around you about you because you know that everyone else is dealing with their own stuff, and why should they have to deal with my stuff too, right? It's just like that feeling of not wanting to put your problems on someone else because they're dealing with their own stuff, and you don't want to load everything on them too. But I don't know, that's sort of been my thought process behind it, is that, and just, I guess it's like, I got myself into this, I need to get myself out. That's a kind of a fucked up way of thinking, sort of the whole idea of having friends and family and people who are there for you, is that you don't have to go through things on your own. But realistically, that idea of this is my problem, I need to solve it, is pretty, that one's hard to overcome. And I would just want to say this, I'm not asking for help or support. I'm working on this, but I just wanted to bring up the fact that I am aware of the flaws in my own personal thinking and ways of dealing with things. So, yeah, squats. So here's the thing. I've been pretty damn good and pretty damn consistent for the past 3 weeks. And it feels really good. But thing is, this is the point kind of where that self-sabotage monster in the back of your subconscious starts acting up and sticking his nose in where he doesn't belong. You know, the first 2 weeks, first week or two, you're super motivated, like, I'm doing this, I need to do this. And then later on, right, a couple months down the road, ideally, I will have built a routine and a habit of consistency and doing good, healthy things. It's just, you know, it becomes the norm, right? That's the goal. But after you get out of that initial motivation phase, the self-sabotage, intrusive thoughts start coming in, right? Where it's like, oh, you've been so good, right? You've been good for 2.5 weeks. Just have a candy bar, right? You're doing really well. You can afford a candy bar. But you can't. I mean, you could, right, if self-control wasn't a huge issue. But the problem is one candy bar can turn into a whole cake pretty quick. Cutting corners can go very bad very quickly. And it's not just like with the eating. The other thing is, like, you've probably noticed the difference in this video from the previous videos. The first week I had no idea what I was doing, and I screwed up filming half the stuff I was trying to film. The second week I thought was pretty good. I filmed pretty much everything, all the workouts that I did, and I got them in there. And there was that added that pressure of, oh, I'm putting this all in. If I don't put all my sets of bench in, then people will know that I didn't do 4 sets of bench, right? Versus now, where I'm putting less sets in, that thought creeps in where it's like, you're only putting 2 sets in the video, just, I'll finish those 2 sets, and it's like, oh, you're only putting 2 in the video, just do 2, you know, yeah, you're fine. So you put them in the video and then call it, but that's not the point. The point isn't to make a video. That's a byproduct. The video is a byproduct of the actual process itself. So I'm really trying to push myself to, oh my God. I'm really trying to push myself to get past that mindset, to suppress that thought process and really focus on what's actually important, what I'm actually trying to do, which is build a consistent, healthy habit of exercise and eating well. That's not to say that I haven't slipped up. For those of you that know me, you know that I have a sweet tooth, but I've been fighting that with this. I buy a bottle at the beginning of the week. Whenever I have the urge for something sweet, or I get that craving, I just go and have a swig of chocolate milk, which really kind of helps. It does help. And I did the math. That bottle of chocolate milk lasts me about, well, we'll say a week. So over the course of a week, 160 calories per serving, 6 servings in a bottle. Shit, math. 720, right? 840. 840 calories in a bottle over the course of 7 days. You know, it's about 100 calories a day from chocolate milk, which isn't bad. So, and then also not flaking on sets. Even though I'm not filming them all, I am doing them all because I would jump off something tall if I didn't. So, yeah. All right, well, that's week 3 done. Today's Saturday, obviously. Well, yes, not obviously. Today's Saturday. We just hit a bit of shoulders, overhead press, lat pull downs, etc. Today, all I really wanted to say was thank you to all of you guys for watching this crap. It really has been helpful. There have been days over these past 2 weeks where, you know, I didn't want to get out here and do anything, especially with the weather starting to get bad or cold, cloudy, rainy. You know, there's just so much potential not potential, but temptation to just stay in bed or play RuneScape or some shit. But there really were days when I did not want to come out here, and I thought to myself, I was like, no, you gotta film, you gotta do something. So yeah, part of the reason that I started doing this whole thing was accountability, keeping myself accountable, having to do these videos. I didn't want to fail at something else. So it really has been good, and I really appreciate those of you that are watching this and keeping up and texting me and saying you like the videos or whatever. So I hope that what I'm putting out is not only good for me, but good for you as well, and you're enjoying it. But yeah, today I just wanted to express how grateful I am for people around me. I know I said on Monday that historically I haven't reached out to people, but I do know that everyone in my life is there for me if I need them. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you. And I think since you've been such a good boy, I'll leave you with some cooking. Cheers. See you next week. So y'all know the drill by now. Chicken goes on first because that takes longer to cook.
For our spices this week, we're using salt, pepper, garlic powder, red chili powder, paprika, cumin, MSG, and Mexican oregano. We're going to get those on our chicken, dump them in, mix it around, get them nice and covered. Then we're going to go with our steaks. These ones we're doing the same, but we're not putting the oregano on them. We want to get a little bit more high heat on these, and something like that'll burn, so it doesn't take away from the taste. It still tastes damn good. Don't worry about it. And finally, we're going to use these nopales, which are prickly pear cactus leaves, obviously with the spines stripped off. I saw these in the store when I was walking by, and they look good, so I figured I'd give them a try. They thematically fit the recipe, so.
Once the chicken gets close to finishing, we'll get the beef and the nopales on there. Get some color and flavor on those. And one thing I do want to mention is I cook pretty much everything on this smoker because I love it. I think it's a great way to cook. Flavor wise, you get the smoke. It's pretty easy to use, especially if you just have like a pellet smoker like this. And you can see I got the big one because I tend to cook large quantities of food. But you don't need a smoker to cook any of these, right? You could be doing this on a regular grill. You could do these on stovetop, in the oven, bake it, roasting. You could use an air fryer for a lot of this. So yeah, obviously my preferred method of cooking is on the smoker, but it's really whatever whatever you have available. Use it. These are going to be just as good no matter how you cook them. So don't be afraid to try one of these recipes out because you don't have a smoker. How's that? So I just temped my chicken and got the beef on there. Chicken's about around 140. So we're gonna let that get up to 165. Don't mess around with undercooked chicken. Something I like to do, and something that you'll learn if you grill a lot, is you'll learn where, don't want to let too much heat out, you'll learn where the hot spots on your grill are, like where you can get more heat on something if you need to. And so I'm utilizing that for these nopales, and I will for the skirts for the steaks too. Around the edges, where the heat shield doesn't cover all of it, you get more heat coming up. So I have the nopales around the edge there because I want those to get a nice char on them. And then the steak, the skirt steak, I have in the middle right now on indirect heat to get up to temp to about 115, 120, sort of right before medium rare. And then I'm going to finish them around the edges on that direct heat, and that's how I'm going to get that sear on them and get them nice and caramelized. So yeah, delicious.
I didn't end up using all that cauliflower that I chopped up last week, so I was thinking, what the hell can I do with this? And this is what I came up with. This is a corn and cauliflower and nopales hash. I'm just putting it on a baking tray using the same seasonings that I did for the meat and mixing it up, throwing it in the oven. To be honest, I put it in and then forgot about it, and then when I checked on it, it looked good, so I just took it out and called it good.
So we're just going to finish off that corn cauliflower mix we made earlier. I'm going to take these nopales that we grilled, got a nice char on those. Just going to chop those up. And I've actually never had these before. I just saw them at the store. And I was like, saw them on Beat Bobby Flay or some shit. Thought they might be good to try. All right, so we'll get those in there. And then we're just going to finish it with a little bit of cotija cheese and some cilantro. And using our all-purpose knife, get that mixed up. And yeah, that's it. We're done. Looks really good. I'm going to try this. I'll let you know. It is really good. So is that. We done good this week. Heck yeah.
And of course we can't forget, you can't make a video about making something to eat without showing a close-up of that nice juicy meat. No, but honestly, this chicken and steak turned out really good. Comes with practice, but really just get a meat thermometer and you'll be fine.